From the Vox Populi studios in Miami Lakes, we bring you the Miami Lakes Business Podcast, brought to you by the Miami Lakes Chamber of Commerce. And today we are going to be dedicating our program to education. And for that, we have invited Vanessa Martinez. Vanessa Martinez is the owner of Montessori Children's House of Miami Lakes, which is a kind of a landmark for those of us that have been in Miami Lakes for years. We have seen that on the corner there. I think is it Bull Run?
It was, on Miami Lake Way.
Miami Lake Way, where Our Lady of the Lakes is and the Optimist Park is.
Yes.
And there's a middle school.
Correct.
Also there. So
you may know it was a light blue building.
Uh-huh.
Now it's not light blue anymore, but it was that staple light blue building in the corner.
And of course, the Vanessa and her organization are members of the chamber as well. And so we thank you for being with us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Welcome. Tell me a little bit about your educational background.
Yes, so I've been in early childhood for almost 14 years, believe it or not. I have a bachelor's in education. I also previously owned a school up in Broward for almost 6 years. We unfortunately had to close that due to leasing obstacles that we went with through the landlord. I was completely heartbroken because I built that also, from scratch. It was a lot of hard work. But at the light at the end of the tunnel, God had a plan for us, and He gave us Montessori Children's House.
Wonderful. So you actually own that property now?
Yes.
Oh,
we're
wonderful.
The owners of the property.
That is wonderful.
Yes.
And you live here in Miami Lakes as well, or?
Yeah, in PSN.
Well, that's
close enough.
That's all part of it.
Yeah. I used to live in Royal Oaks. We moved to Miami Lakes when I was 11. So I've been in the Miami Lakes area since
you were a young child.
Yeah, I went to Day Christian my whole life, since 3 years old till 12th grade. So this whole area to me feels just like home.
It's like home,
yeah.
Exactly. Right. Let's talk a little bit about the Montessori system, because a lot of people may not be familiar with. They have heard about it, but they're actually not familiar with what it represents. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so the Montessori philosophy is a very old philosophy. It was founded by Maria Montessori back in Italy. She was a physician, and she pretty much created, or when you do study her philosophy, everything is very hands-on. The children are learning by doing and by modeling behavior. So with the philosophy, you have the mixed age groups. So in a toddler classroom or a toddler environment, you have your 1-year-olds all the way to 3 years old. So the concept of that is that the older children are teaching the younger ones, and then the younger ones are learning from the older ones. And when I say learning, they're not necessarily, being the teacher, like, this is how you do this is, the letter A. It's more necessarily just by modeling behavior. The teachers are there as a guide. They're observing, and they'll be able to show the children the different lessons that are inside the classroom by modeling. As a school, you have your lesson plans, your curricular units, so the entire environment is divided into the areas of Montessori, which is just the most basic. I mean, I can go on talking about the philosophy, but just the most basic is the areas as far as the practical life, mathematical, science, sensorial, and cultural studies. So you'll always find a Montessori environment divided into those different areas and available for the children.
So the system is actually like a one-on-one type of system, rather than just trying to teach the whole class at the same time, which maybe some kids may not have the same abilities or the same intelligence level that the other ones may have, may make them feel inferior at times or
right.
whatever, like it happens in a regular school.
Right.
So
in relating to that, the kids, since they are being individualized as far as the lessons itself, they don't feel that pressure that you're saying. It's when in a traditional class they're learning how to read, right? Obviously, a child is going to be embarrassed if they're not mastering reading yet. They're not going to want to raise their hand. They're not going to want to be called on. So then that lowers their self-esteem. So with the Montessori philosophy, it allows you to do that one-on-one and practice with it. It even works with children that are excelling. You know, let's go to a preschool classroom. You have a 3-year-old that's excelling in language or in math. We're going to be offering them lessons as far as in 5-year-olds if they're ready for it. We're not holding any kids back, and vice versa. If they're struggling and they're a 4-year-old, we're gonna get them to meet the other children, and the other children don't even need to find out that they're struggling, since everything is more on their own through the work cycle. So the work cycle in a preschool classroom is about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And that's when the children are, you know, exploring on their own as far as in doing those lessons. And the teacher works, like I said, as the observer and monitoring that and making sure that they are conquering all those lessons.
What is the your ideal type of kid for the type of schooling that you have?
So I would say there's no ideal. You know, every child is so unique. I know that's always the thing. You know, every child is unique, and they are. Every child is completely different. They completely excel in different ways. So I wouldn't say, you know, we're not a cookie cutter school. We're not looking for a specific child. We just want to make sure that our environment is appropriate for every child that comes through our doors.
I see. And do you have in your system, is there a limit as to the amount of children that will be per class?
Yeah, so we do focus on low teacher ratio. Our classroom environment is very large. Our rooms, that's probably one of the first things everyone says when they come in, wow, your classrooms are huge. So we do have a lot of areas. And it gives us the ability to have that low teacher ratio. For example, our preschool environment, we have 2 lead teachers instead of having, you know, your typical would be a lead teacher and an assistant. We have 2 lead teachers that are certified in Montessori. They have their bachelor as well. And then our toddler room, we already have 3 teachers in that environment as well. So we're really trying to keep those low student ratios.
At this time, your school actually goes from pre-K?
From toddlers, 15 months.
From toddlers, okay.
They have to be fully walking. If they are, you know, younger and they're walking, we'll accept them. It's more of a safety issue. So the norm is 15 months all the way to 3rd grade.
To 3rd grade.
Yes.
Okay. And at this time right now, I know you just
we just
started,
opened in the summer.
Just opened, and then of course you have a new school year coming up now in August. Is when you start your school year.
Yes, our first year.
How many children do you have enrolled in your school right now?
So right now we're about 30 kids. Our toddler environment pretty much is almost on a wait list. Thankfully, that class has been filling up very quickly. And then our preschool class and our elementary is also growing. So in between everything, we have about like 30 kids.
30 total?
Yeah.
And the amount of teachers that you have right now?
We have 5.
5?
Yeah.
Including yourself? Or
I would be the 6th.
You would be the 6th, okay.
Yes.
All right. So how did you happen to end up back in Miami Lakes? I remember at the beginning you said that you had the school in Broward, I believe,
yes.
is what you're saying. And then because of a lease situation, you had to close down the school. What made you come to Miami Lakes and explore the possibilities of this one? So
Montessori Children's House, we didn't explore at all. God placed it in our hands. It was a total blessing for us. It was back in April 2023. It was a week that was nonstop raining here in Miami. I don't know if you remember, but it was a specific week. It was around Easter. It was raining night and day. And my dad's a contractor, a building contractor, and somebody had called him to go take a look at this property that, you know, the ceiling was pretty much caving in from all of the rain. It was in bad condition. So my dad went out there as an emergency call, and he saw, you know, everything that was happening. He immediately, you know, went to work, helped them as much as possible. And my dad is also an angel. He's an angel sent on earth. So he was just, you know, trying to see how he can help these people. He saw how bad it was. the previous owners, both of them, the husband and the wife, with Charlene was the original owner, Charlene Thibodeau. She had passed away a couple years ago, and then the husband passed away, I believe, that January as well. So the school was left to the siblings. They had their own health issues as well, and my dad just said, are you guys looking to sell this? It wasn't even on the market. It wasn't anything. And, little by little, we just started speaking, and it was ours. The deal went through. We really believe that God sent us this school. We're still in contact with the family as well. They had received other offers throughout the years, and they just didn't want to sell the school to anyone. They wanted it to get in the right hands of the right family with the same motive.
To continue the legacy.
Continue. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. That is wonderful.
Yeah.
Tell me, how is the parents' involvement in the school?
Yes.
Do you foster that, or do
Yes.
you want them to stay away? Or?
No. Our door is completely open. We love parent involvement. We're going to bring that out throughout the school year, even just as small as in coming and doing baking in the practical life area with a parent, or reading a book with a mom or a dad. We don't necessarily have that homeroom mom that most schools have, that you're chosen, the only mom to make decision is that one specific mom. We completely took that away. Everyone, we are a family, we're a community within our school, and we want everyone to feel that. We'll have different events. Family's always welcome. We'll, have the holidays, the Christmas, Mother's Day, Father's Day, all of that. So they'll definitely have the opportunity to come and volunteer as much as they can.
Tell me a little bit, Vanessa. How did it happen to? What made you turn into the Montessori system?
I have a
because
daughter.
obviously you didn't study in a Montessori school.
No, I did not study in a Montessori school. But I did study early childhood. My other school was not Montessori, but now that I am in the Montessori world, I saw how much we were doing. I've always, with my education background, I've always learned that children learn by doing and by play. So I did have that in my other school, and now that I have a daughter, she's going to be 4 in October. So she, a lot of the things that I have done with her, whether we're at home or anywhere else, it's, by showing her, by doing it. So I see how well that goes hands in hands with children. I really do not believe that kids deserve to be behind a desk doing worksheets for 8 hours a day, having 5 tests at 4 years old. There's so much more to their lives that they deserve to not go through that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know that, you did attend Day Christian, you told me. And,
yes.
And I'm very well familiar with Day Christian. I've known many kids that, that
gone
through there. And it was an excellent school. And I knew one of the pastors there, from the church there for many, many years. My question to you is, what would you tell the regular parents out there? Because obviously you would love to increase the amount of kids that that are attending your school. What would you tell them that is more advantageous, the Montessori system, than the regular school system that we're all familiar with?
Right.
How would you explain that?
So we can divide that into different areas. I think the most important thing that we should focus at a young age is their social and emotional being. I really feel that there's a lot of great schools out there, don't get me wrong. But I do feel that traditional setting is taking away from, their well-being. And it goes back to what I had mentioned, that anxiety. You have 5-year-olds that are anxious. Why are they anxious? Why is school making them anxious? Is it the way that they're teaching, what they're expecting out of them? Is it the type of children that are around them, what they're being exposed to? So in that area, I would say that that's where we would differ from a traditional setting as far as social emotional. Then when it comes to our academics, goes back. We're doing everything hands-on. Kids are going to thrive. They're going to want to come to school because they're not going to be behind a desk. They're not going to be doing a worksheet. They're going to just be thinking, we're here doing our mat work, our lesson, and we're just doing it. It's like if they were going to be at home building blocks or something. So it makes them feel at home. And every kid wants to be at home. They want to be at an eased environment, whether they know it or not. They're too young to understand their actual needs, but that's what a child needs. They need that consistent. When you have these groups that are 30 kids in one classroom with one or two teachers, that second teacher is in and out, they're not getting any attention. And kids need attention, especially their first 5 to 6 years of life. It's the most essential. I always say the most important for preschool, it is building their self-confidence, their self-esteem, their fine gross motor skills, their numbers, ABC, all of that's going to come. It's going to come naturally in an environment like that. We want to just make sure that we're building that foundation from the beginning. We're a Christian school as well, so we incorporate all of that, the biblical aspects, the morals of it as well.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful, because I think that's one thing that is essential in the society that we live in. I
agree.
To get the kids not to be afraid of God, but to have him as a friend.
Correct.
Which is important.
Yeah.
Which is important.
And planting the seeds and being responsible for that, to me, is the most reward from all of this. Like we said, I went to Day Christian, and I really do feel when I was there, I have beautiful memories being in that school. I went there from 3 years old all the way through 12th grade. So if I look back at my elementary years and even being in preschool there, all my memories are beautiful. And I do feel that was like a standing ground for me when I have to make decisions in the school, because to me, I know, I'm older now, but to me that just feels like the other day, because there's such strong memories that I remember. And I do feel that every child deserves to be in an environment like that at school.
Yeah, it is important to have good memories, from the schools that you attended.
Right.
And I do have excellent memories of the schools that I attended when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And my teachers, I still remember many of them, even though I was not the best student in the class, but I was, I guess, among the top, always,
right.
Students. So, but I always remember them with a lot of love and,
Yeah, which is the most important. A child's going to thrive in a loving and in a helpful environment. They're not going to want to learn if they're in an environment where the teacher, is not so nice, or she's just always upset. They're not going to want to be there. And no one wants to be there. I mean, it's like going to work, and you don't want to be in an environment that
is hostile.
Hostile, exactly.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm very much familiar with the teaching world, because my two daughters are teachers. They have been teachers for one for 30 years, and the other one, I think, 29 or so, so, and they love their profession.
Yeah, you have to have a passion for it.
Yeah, sure. You do have to have a vocation. You have to have a passion for it. Otherwise, you can't be good at what you do.
Exactly.
So, you're married,
yes,
and have one little girl?
Yes, I have a daughter, I have a husband, and my family.
Well, I met your husband when you came into the studio today.
Yes.
He's not coming out on camera, but
he's here for the support.
He's here with us. He's here with us. And how long have you been married?
We've been married for 4 years now.
Oh my God!
Going on 5.
Wow! Wow!
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, that's
Time
good.
Time goes by fast.
Let me tell you, it goes by very fast. I've been married for 57 years.
Oh, wow! Congratulations.
We started when we were very young, at the age of 20.
Wow.
And I was happened to be in the military at that time. And my first daughter was actually born in the military hospital.
Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah. So it's been it's been a good
ride.
a good ride. No question about
that's
it.
Very nice.
Yeah. Marriage is something that you have to work at it every single day. I remember listening to a priest one time at a retreat saying that it was a couple retreat. It says you need to be wanting to be married every single day
Yep. It's true.
in order for your marriage to work. And,
Yep.
and in doing so, it's a lot of acceptance and a lot of giving and taking, and
Right.
but more giving than anything else. So it can be selfish, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So Vanessa, it's been great having you here.
Thank you for having me.
I think it's wonderful to have. Again, I'm always impressed. Being the president of the chamber, I'm always impressed with the young people starting something, starting a business, and the business that they like, and they invest all their lives and monies into to make it work. So anything that we could do for you at the chamber level, you can always count on us for that. And it's been a pleasure having you here
Thank
today.
you.
Anything that you would want to add? Why don't we tell exactly the location of your school and the
Yes.
phone number in case anybody's interested in calling you and having their kids enroll? Is there still room for the new school year?
Yes, so we still
Okay.
have availability. You can call us at 305-823-5632, and we're located on 6381 Miami Lakeway North.
Right, and that's just to make the people a little bit more familiar with the area. That's right off Our Lady of the Lakes, Optimus Park,
Right
and
there, the corner.
and the junior high school
Yes.
that is there, that has been there for ages.
Yes,
So
we're right there.
well, it's wonderful. So thank you so much, Vanessa, for
Thank
being
you.
with us. And as you can see, it was painless.
Yes, it was good. It was nice and smooth. Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you so much. And until next time.